Well guys, it is driller day here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Just leaving the RV now. It kind of feels a little bit sad. It's our last day here at the Tulsa Expo Center for the 2025 Chili Bowl Nationals. We have the entire alphabet soup. It is 9:41 right there. You can see my beautiful lady there too on my screen. I miss her. She wasn't able, Jessica, she wasn't able to come to this year's Chili Bowl. She's back at home. Anyway, we're heading in the building. We have 20 minutes until the first, I think it's like the P main or an O main, or it's deep. Obviously I wanted my prelim night to go better, but it definitely could have went worse because you could have your fire suit on right now. I still have a couple hours until my F main event number 2, where I'm starting I think 11th, but we're heading in the building. Excited to watch some of these first races just for a minute. The reason I get up this early to watch is because sometimes the craziest things happen because it's the guys at the very bottom, and you might see some really good soup runs. We're down here at the bottom of the ramp where you enter on the track. Got quite a few drivers. They're just taking a break right now. They're going to do opening ceremonies. So drivers are lining up by their states so they can do the flags and have everyone walk out. You can see, so they've ran, basically they started with the P main this morning. That was at 9 o'clock, and now they're getting ready to roll into the G main events after this break. So the racetrack got extremely slick, very wide. We're out there kind of doing what would be close to probably a full farm. You can see how wet the top is. They kind of threw some water on it, tilled it up. Now they're tilling the bottom. Before, in that last lower main, this thing was pretty ice slick, pretty smooth as well. So hopefully now with the rework, we still have a few main events till we're up. Hopefully it can kind of widen back out so we have plenty of opportunity to pass. But Saturday's really shaping up here. There's so many people in the building. The stands have been full all night. All the drivers are suited up. Everyone's just about ready to rock and roll for their main events as we're kind of nearing the faster and faster guys towards the A feature. Alright, climbing in for our F main event. We start 11th here, top 5 transfers, so we have to pass 6 cars. It's definitely doable. The racetrack is pretty hooked up. They did rework it, but it's kind of starting to, the main thing is it's going to be fast, but if they can kind of get the fluff to widen out over the last G main, and then there's one F main before us. So realistically, just got to get a good start, give it all our got. I got to, want to go out there and run my best race and try to give ourselves an opportunity to transfer through this alphabet soup. So we got our car all dialed in. It's been a few days since I've been in the race car running so early in the week, but just excited, and like I said, just making the most of where we're at, rolling off from 11th.
Oh, she got my first win. I got my first win finally.
Well, no real other way to put it there than we got spun out. Got spun out there just one spot out of a transfer to the next main event. So we had to go to the back, and unfortunately once I ended up in the back with just so many cars and not enough laps to gain all the positions that I just lost, made it difficult to get in a rhythm. And then with the track kind of being where it was, at times cars were just side by side in front of me and couldn't get a clean lane, and just wasn't able to put some great laps together. So we didn't really move much once we moved to the rear, and unfortunately that ended our F main event and ended any chances of us having a soup run moving forward in some of the main events to come. A good charge going there. I think I was up to 6th or maybe 7th. I wasn't far out of a transfer there before I got tail tanked. I was in a really good rhythm up until about a lap before I got spun. I tried to jump out of what I was doing to start figuring out a way to pass the cars in front of me as they were kind of moving around. So you can see I got over the cushion at the end. That made it hard to turn. So still obviously I have lots of things I like to work on. Wish I had more laps, but felt like I said, got in a good rhythm there. So I mean, everything was up until that point was going to plan. So yeah, sucks that we didn't get through at least one there to get to the E. We were definitely on our way, at least giving ourselves a chance to fight to it till the very end. Well, I got all changed into my street attire, just had a few more minutes to kind of process everything. I think the positives from the situation, it was really cool that I felt like I got in a good rhythm. And this is kind of like what happened last year. Like it takes all week to really get going. And, also in some of these lower mains, there's maybe a few less capable cars. Everyone maybe is more similar in pace. And, I was able to get going and pass cars and move forward within the first 5 laps. And the big thing is getting a rhythm, which is hard to do when you're in an uncomfortable situation in the sense of driving a new car. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get out there and find what feels good for you and your line, and how to drive the car, how to use the throttle, when to use the brake, all that stuff, and kind of put it all together like a puzzle. And I knew in my head as I was moving forward, I'm like, okay, and once I kind of figured out I was about in 6th, I'm like, I really want to try to get a couple more cars because I knew we were all spreading out a little bit, but you don't want to be on the bubble in these lower main events, because exactly what happened to me is a very common thing in this building, right? With midgets, and there's so many people here, not everyone kind of has the same etiquette as far as how they would, trying to pass cars and what to do to get a final transfer spot or to battle it out. And so yeah, anyway, I ended up in the spot that I was in, and I was trying to just start moving around before the lap before, which kind of led me to a mistake that kind of put me even close enough to the cars behind me to get me on my left rear. Just got tight in the cushion. But I felt like up until that point we had all the right ideas and stuff. And as far as it all as a whole, like, yes, it's frustrating. We would have loved to move on. There would have been nice to get more laps, and you just don't know what can happen moving through the soup. But at the same time, we were in an F main. We didn't come in today necessarily like we were in prime position to win a driller or lock into the show. Of course, you always want to move as far forward as possible, but yeah, I mean, ultimately, it is what it is. Today, we wanted to get the most out of it, and it sucks that it was taken away from us. But yeah, that kind of completes another Chili Bowl. One of these years, man, I'm gonna get to come to this building. I want to just be more prepared with experience and laps. I feel I'm capable of running well. I come from the outlaw karts, just getting comfortable, figuring out the package that I'm in and how to drive it and what works, and also with the people I'm working with. This is my first time running with Kyle Beilman and his entire team, and he has a great operation. It's tough, right, when you have a new driver, team kind of combining all that stuff. It just takes time to figure out the flow of things, how I fit into their program with their setups, and yeah, the whole 9 yards. I don't gotta explain it all, but just very thankful for the opportunity that Kyle gave me and allowing me to come out here, not having a ton of midget experience. So we finished in the F main. I don't know what position. After that whole incident happened, I probably got just a little tense, just trying to be careful. There's a lot of guys back there kind of going everywhere, and tried to find a way on by, but just wasn't able to get back to that same rhythm. Had some okay speed, but just wasn't able to get to that rhythm. Well, and just like that, Chili Bowl's complete. Race is over, and they're already taking the track out. This racetrack and everything here has to be out of this building. I guess that's not permanently here. Has to be gone by Monday morning. So the next 24 hours is a madhouse for this place. The amount of people they have working to get the dirt, fencing, I don't know. I guess probably the grandstands, I would assume too. Everything has to go. Kyle Larson ended up bringing home another golden driller. Dason Persley put up a good fight. The Matt Wood cars were really strong behind them. Got to give a big shout out to my teammate Landon Brooks. You hear me talk about him in my Red Bluff videos. I've ran side by side with him now for years with Jimmy Elledge and Factory QRC, and he had an impressive week in Tulsa. Won his prelim night, top 5 on Saturday. That's huge, and you know, Landon's a really good dirt racer and has been building his career. So hopefully this week did well for him as he continues to kind of get his name out on a bigger stage. But yeah, just enjoyed watching the feature. Kind of watched from the pit area as this was all so crowded up here. Here is the top look at the building. Look at that. Absolutely insane. Here's an up close and personal look at the cushion. After Larson's run at the shootout where he almost won the non-wing race and kind of did like the wall riding, it looked like, where literally almost looked like he was driving a wing car. That was kind of the theme of tonight. You know, all those front running guys that were making speed, whether they were doing it the whole corner or like Landon, I mentioned, he was almost running a slider line and getting to it like literally like wall riding. It was insane to watch. Like I said, totally nuts. It almost looks easier on TV, but you got to know how sketchy that is in a midget, man. Like you are seconds away from disaster at any moment. Now to kind of end things, as our Chili Bowl is complete, I just want to give a big shout out to Kyle Beilman Motorsports, everyone on the 31. We worked hard. It wasn't for a lack of effort where we ended up. I feel like too, sometimes you just have that Chili Bowl luck in this building. Sometimes things, you know, everything goes your way, and sometimes things don't go your way, and you have, you know, more difficult positions to be in, try to dig yourself out of a hole. No matter what though, I had fun, especially, you know, those first few laps of my main event tonight, you know, just getting the hang of it. That felt really, really good. And midgets, they are totally fun to drive. It's just like any other race car though. If you're, you know, up to speed, you can run with the best. It's no different racing wise. It's just how to make it go fast from behind the wheel. So Tulsa, we'll most likely see ya in 1 year down the road. The last thing that I'll end with, you know, of course tonight didn't end up how we wanted as far as getting spun out, trying to transfer and everything, but one of these years I'm going to come to Tulsa, and I want to make it next year. Want to do it right and, you know, really get some laps beforehand and just get that chance to prepare, so when I come here I feel comfortable a little quicker off the bat. Because even like tonight I felt good behind the wheel. It just takes time all week to kind of get there. In your prelim night, you obviously got up from the drop of high laps all the way to the checkered flag in the feature. You got to be ripping to have a shot at locking in, or to be in a B main event to get through. Anything deeper than that, man, you gotta rip through the alphabet soup to make it to the finale. You know, your chances go down and down, but I really think we're capable of doing it. I think I could figure out the midget. You know, a lot of the kart guys, as you saw the success this week, like they rip. It's just like I said, getting a few more laps and getting up to speed so we could make it happen here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. But that is the 2025 Chili Bowl Nationals. Thank you for hanging out with me all week. It was a pleasure to bring you along, and like I mentioned, we will be back in Tulsa in 1 year, and we have a lot of sprint car races, a lot of fun coming your way for the 2025 season. Deuces. Back to Oregon.